What's going on, Freak Nation? A very special freaking Friday. Statman decided to get his happy ass out of bed. Usually he's a night owl. He jams to Megadeth 24/7 and gets up about 5, 6 o'clock at night.
Wait, what? And gets up at 5 at night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He jams to Megadeth from 5 to 5 a.m. and just gets his ass up. Nice job, Stat.
Yeah, Metallica is more my speed right now, and I'm, really getting into that.
That was
just plain into that.
That was so sincere. It's incredible. Freak Nation, special guest joining us in moments, Justin Brayton, big-time Supercross pilot. Is this his last damn year? He's been running. I think he's been running for the last, 5, 6 decades? I think he's the oldest guy on a bike to ever win a race. I think he won a race at 65. No, I joke because last time we had him in here, January of last year, we were talking about retirement. But I think this is it. This is the year for Justin Brayton. Holy smokes.
And they say go out on a high note. There's been a few things that have happened since we had him on last time. So yes.
Justin Brayton in moments here in the Freak Nation. And with the Formula One announcement, we've got that coming up in the second half of the show. And sorry, man, I've got to do this to you, Freak Nation. The World Cup draw was today. And to keep it PG rated, I got pretty freaking excited finding out that we're going to be taking on the motherland of England. And then Iran.
And then whoever wins the Euro playoff.
Yeah. We'll whoop the ass of Wales or Scotland. I'm not worried about those guys.
But no, this is honest to God the truth.
Yeah.
Kenny went on American Airlines to price flights to Qatar in November. Suffice it to say, it's not cheap at all.
Guess how much they are, Statman?
Like $6,800, $67.
So you checked yourself.
You did check.
It's a long line. You got to sit there and figure it all out.
Per ticket.
6,700 plus.
And that's for stewage coach seats. So yeah.
Stewage.
They tie you to the wing and hold on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good luck. Freak
Nation, good to get him back in here. Justin Brayton, Supercross pilot, here with the Freaks. And Justin, are you a Formula One or a World Cup fan or both?
F1 fan for sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's huge news with Las Vegas getting the third World Cup. But let me dive into something real quick here. I was out on my mountain bike for the first time in 6 months. I broke my collarbone the last time I was on my mountain bike. It was a legit fall too, buddy. It wasn't one of those happy ass falls, okay?
Nice.
But I went back to the scene of the crime, Justin, for the first time on my mountain bike and kicked that one portion's ass. Are there times when you fall on the bike, whether it was Texas or Arizona or Florida, where you've fallen, taken a big dinger, took you out for several races, and you went back there specifically to kick that track's ass?
Oh, 100%. I mean, honestly, that started a long time ago when I was 5 years old. That's what my parents taught me. If you crash, you got to get back on. And that's a big life lesson with anything, right? So nice work. Not nice work on the crash. Sorry about that. But nice work on going back out there and conquering it. So, yeah, we deal with that on a week-to-week basis. Trust me.
When you hit those tracks where you've had a pretty gnarly dinger, is it behind you, or are you one of those guys that carries it with you to motivate you to kick some ass?
You have to put it behind you as soon as possible. It's kind of cliche to say, but it's the truth. I mean, I had a big crash a few weeks ago at Indianapolis. Typically, Indy has been a great city for me, a great stadium, and this year it wasn't. So you win some, you lose some, but you got to get back on the horse and get straight back to work. And as many times as we've taken a digger, if I wasn't able to get back on or put it behind me, I'd have been done many, many years ago.
Well, if you can put some of the bad memories behind you, you can't put the good memories behind you. For instance, your Daytona win. I mean, that never, ever leaves your cerebellum.
No, definitely not. I mean, I've still got the trophy on the mantle in the living room. So I like to get reminded of that one a lot. And yeah, super proud of that still to this day. Obviously, it was a few years ago, but to be the oldest to ever win a Supercross in really a young man's sport, right? That's what we've been taught for so many years is once you turn 30, it's kind of over. But I think I was one of them to kind of rewrite that book and to be able to win at almost 34 years old and think the sport and really all sports on across the board becoming older and older champions and older guys that are performing at their best.
Well, yeah, you look at, football with Tom Brady. Last year, you just brought up Indy, so I'll bring up Indy. Elio Castroneves winning his 4th Indy 500 in his 40s. So, yeah, what do you attribute that to your longevity in the sport? Because Supercross, like we've discussed here just briefly, takes a beating on your body. How have you been able to manage so many years in the sport?
Great question. I think there's so many different answers, I guess, to that. But the biggest thing is just mentally. I think our bodies are capable of so much, even well into our 60s, probably. There's people running marathons in their 80s. I just think the biggest thing is mentally being at the top for that long. And every weekend you're expected to get a certain result, which is win the race or win the game or whatever. So that's the biggest thing that I think is the number one factor to people leaving their sport early. And then you see a lot of, it's common in every sport. There's so many comebacks, right? You retire and then it's like, wait a second, I've got a few kids at home and they're kind of getting on my nerves. I want to go race again. So you see that all the time, right? You see football players come back. So I didn't want to be one of those people. Wanted to kind of run it to the bitter end until I'm at least, still super competitive and never wanted to just be a filler in the field. I wanted to be competitive. So, yeah, it's been a good run, but I think time to call it good and happy to do it almost to into my 40s.
Mm-hmm. Well, Justin Brayton, the other side of that coin is that a lot of athletes, or at least one in particular in the NBA, wants to stick around until his son is ready so he could play with his son or against his son. Is that something that you might think about doing, is waiting until the kids are ready to race and so you can race with them?
No, it's definitely not something that I've thought about, just mainly because my kids are 7, 4, and almost 1. So it would be a long time. I would think they would kick me out of the sport by then. But I mean, what a cool story, right? With LeBron, maybe playing with his son and yeah, I've been in it long enough to where my kids, or my oldest 2, have got to see what I do, which I think is really important. Got to see me live out my dream and kind of be a role model for them to say, hey, look, if dad can do it, I can do it. And he set out for a dream many years ago and was able to achieve it. And so, yeah, hopefully they take something from that and now we can do whatever they want to do. And I'll be a T-ball coach with the best of them.
No, I did not hear Supercross in there.
Yeah, a lot of guys, when they talk about leaving and the R word, retirement, they're not prepared for anything. What do you have in mind to do? Is it going to be you're going to become a team member, a team owner? What's going to happen with Justin Brayton? Are you going to be involved in the sport at all? Or are you going to go another direction altogether?
Well, I like your guys' name with SpeedFreaks because I'm a speed freak and I like all things 2 wheels and 4 wheels, and was able to get in a dirt track car last year and I was totally addicted, totally hooked. Also, I love Supercross and all things motorcycles. I actually own a motorcycle dealership in Charlotte, North Carolina called 10 Cycles. I love bicycles. I love, I've had a relationship with Specialized bicycles for a long, long time. And so, yeah, maybe race some bicycles, maybe get in a dirt track car, maybe a sprint car, but anything racing. If you got a race and I can be in it, I'm there.
Wait a minute. That's pretty outlandish.
That's awesome.
Charlotte. How do you end up in Charlotte in NASCAR country and talk about sprint cars and dirt? You got your mind in 1,000 different directions here.
Yeah, so what brought me to Charlotte was Joe Gibbs Racing. I raced for Coach Gibbs for 4 years and became really close with the Gibbs family. And I know some of the numbers, I guess, behind the scenes on how much it takes to drive a NASCAR, and that's too much. But to get in a dirt car, that's somewhat affordable. So, but yeah, I love NASCAR. Love everything about it. Got really close with some of the drivers while I've lived here, and respect them guys like no other. So for me to jump into something like that at 38 years old, it wouldn't be possible. So yeah, just kind of have fun with the dirt track thing, and but Supercross is my passion, and that's where I've built my life from, and so I'd love to be a part of a team somehow, some way, but whether that's achievable or not, and the big thing is to travel too with 3 kids. To be on the road as much as I've been on the road, it's really difficult, and but we'll see. I think there's a lot of different things that could potentially happen, but we'll just see where life takes us.
Suave, go right ahead with Justin Brayton, Supercross pilot, retiring at the end of this year.
Yeah, I want to follow up on this dirt conversation, because right above your head, Justin, there's a sponsor logo for Lucas Oil. Lucas Oil is the sponsor of the biggest dirt event in the country, the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals in Oklahoma. I'm sensing, might we see Justin Brayton hop into a sprint car at the Chili Bowl Nationals next year?
I would say definitely not next year. I need to learn how to drive one first. So, but would I love the opportunity to have a test day and enjoy it? Absolutely. Jumped in the dirt car and right away felt comfortable. I've been racing on dirt since I was 4, so I believe there's a true skill in reading the dirt and where there's traction and where there's not. So I picked up on that really, really quick. And throttle control, there's so many things that cross over right between the motorcycle and racing on dirt on 4 wheels. So yeah, would love to at some point check it out. And but I've heard about the Chili Bowl. That looks like some fun.
Yeah, I've been watching your Instagram this year. You did a ride around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You're getting yourself everywhere in all different facets of motorsports. I'm sensing that, yes, there is a future for you somewhere outside of just 2-wheel, and it's going to be fun to follow.
Well, once you have the racing blood in you, I've had it since I started racing motorcycles when I was 4. So for me to be 38, retired, can I just stop racing? I don't think I can. I really don't. I think I'm prepared to say that. I think a lot of guys retire and they just, I'm ready to sit around the house and, kind of enjoy retirement life. And I'm opposite. I don't want to do that. I realize that this sport is a young man's sport, and I've been in it longer than I've not should have, but I've enjoyed every minute of it. And I think now it's time to turn my focus to something else and wake up with a passion to still be competitive and be really, really good at something. So what that is, like I said, I enjoy mountain bike racing. I love that. You can do that, well into my later years. So think we'll start with that, keep myself active, keep myself fit. And then who knows where the kids go. They might pick something 4 wheels or something else on dirt. And maybe I'll do that with them.
20 years in Supercross. 20 years in Supercross. Justin Brayton joining us here on the Freak Nation. And you talk about NASCAR and Supercross, and we've kind of forgotten about what a lot of people thought was a gimmick for NASCAR, where stage wins, and then you win a race, you're in the playoffs. Is that something now at 38 years old that you could have seen coming to Supercross, or do you still like the fact that you've got to be the best G-damn rider on the track to win that race and to win that championship at the time?
Great question. And, there has been talk of potential chase format or playoff format in our sport. And I like it. I really do. Just to be consistent for 17 races and to be on your A game and not only those 17 races, but the 3 months prior to the season to try and stay healthy. It's obviously, fairly dangerous sport. We have get-offs quite a bit. And if you can stay healthy for that long, it's a skill in itself. But also I think, if you had a minor injury coming into the season and you started slow and you were on your form late in the year, I think that should be rewarded. So I think it would be neat. I think it'd be neat to have some sort of playoff or chase format. I think it would be cool to award, points for heat race wins or have something else throughout the day where you can really gain some points for your championship. Maybe, they've got the Triple Crown format at 3 of the races now. I love that. Was able to get a couple wins there. So yeah, I think mixing it up is great. I think it's great as a fan. There's been years where I've been injured and was able to watch some races at home, and I'll tell you what, watching a Triple Crown race is so exciting. It's just awesome as a fan. So as a rider, maybe not so much, because you got to line up 3 times with the best guys. But also at the end of the night, if you win it, you know that you were the man. So I think change is they say change isn't always good, but I think sometimes it is.
Justin Brayton, I'm going to go back to something you said earlier, and you could give me whatever secrets you want to or not, but you mentioned that you could look at dirt and tell where the traction is. How do you do that? What am I going to see if I look at the dirt and say, oh, I can get some I know if on snow, people think that, you could get on the snow, drive in the snow and get more traction, obviously, than you do on the ice. But how do you do that on dirt?
A lot of trial and error, a lot of thinking your front tire has traction, and then all of a sudden it doesn't, and you're on the ground. Just the color of it. Yeah, the color of the dirt. And, pebbly, and there's our front tire is so narrow, and think about the speeds we're at and how much trust we have to have in that tire. A lot of that is just reading the dirt, where it's going to be slick, where it's not, where I can have maximum traction. And most of that is the color of it. And then also just testing it out, like the previous lap. You might go in there a little too hot and slip a little bit and say, okay, well, there's the maximum traction to that point. I'm going to maybe open up my turn a little bit, and it's just something I've done forever. I mean, if you do something for 30 something years, you're going to learn it. And that's what I've done on dirt. I've played in dirt my whole life. So yeah, you just get to a point where you can read it really well.
And the darker color means there's more traction?
Most of the time, yep. Most of the time.
Holy smokes.
See, that's where it just drives me crazy, mostly in 4-wheels, in that people just say, oh, I can drive a car on the freeway. This is not that hard.
Yeah.
You just throttle it. The same that you're saying right now. It's like there's so much. It's a mental game as well as a physical game for you guys out there.
For sure. And then if you do find where that grip is 2 laps before the other guy finds out, that could be the difference between winning and losing the race on 2 wheels or 4 wheels. So, and the track's ever changing. I mean, there's every single lap, we do anywhere from 25 to 30 laps at a Supercross. Every single lap, the dirt's changing, and the turns are changing, and the ruts are ever changing. It's just the track's alive. A lot of people say that, like the track is actually alive, and it is. It's just changing every lap. There's something different, and the quicker and better you can adapt compared to your competitors. There's been nights where it's netted me a win, and other nights where I've been a little bit late on it, and it will cost you 3 or 4 positions.
You were talking, I believe it was you were talking about the dirt at Detroit, talking about rocks and freaking body parts and car parts.
GM and Ford parts.
Yeah. And is that true? Aren't they responsible of sifting through the sand and the dirt to get those big chunks out for you guys?
Yeah, and they do a good job of it. Detroit was a little bit rocky, but I actually don't mind that. I don't want to go to tracks every weekend where the dirt's the same and they've sifted it and it's just perfect. I think it's good to have different, changes throughout the year. And if it's a rocky soil, if we're in Phoenix, Arizona, for instance, it's obviously desert and rocky and hard packed. I think it should be rocky and hard packed and not just perfect dirt like we see in like a St. Louis. I think St. Louis has the best dirt of the year. That black, really nice soil. So I think it's cool to go all over the country, race on different types of soil. And, when we're in Florida, it's sandy, right? And it should be sandy. We should be racing in some really soft conditions. So I like that. But no, they do a great job of sifting the dirt and getting the rocks out and the car parts and all the stuff that you had mentioned.
I know. I'd learned, I'm a big rallycross fan, and I'd learned that there's like 4 or 5 different kinds of dirt that the promoter can buy. And you could buy the real fine stuff that you talked about in St. Louis. And at the bottom of the ladder is like construction dirt that's got rocks and rebar and all sorts of stuff in it. And they had it at one rallycross event, and there was a lot of flat tires and everything, and they blamed it on the cheap promoter that put the thing together. So it sounds like you're saying the same thing, that you can get all sorts of dirt, and the better the dirt, the more expensive it is, and the easier it is to ride on.
100%. Yeah, just like shopping for dirt, just like shopping for a house. You can get some really expensive, nice stuff, or you can save some money and get the stuff with car parts in it. So
shopping for dirt.
But yeah.
Are the interest rates the same? That's
Well, that's a whole nother animal.
You're right.
Again, Justin Brayton here in the Freak Nation, 38 years old, retiring from Supercross after 2 decades. We've been doing this for 22 years, so we know how things can put a beat down in your body. But damn it, okay, you're 38. What does your body feel like? Does it feel 38, or do you need to add on a few more years?
It just depends on the day. Today I feel pretty good. I feel like about 27. 2 weeks ago, I felt like I was 61. So just depends on the day. But no, it's actually been good. That's the thing about staying in it this long, is that I have to keep my body fit, have to keep it in shape, and that helps. There's that good old saying of, if you let the old in, you'll never get it out, and if you slow down, you'll never speed back up. So I kind of live by both of those mottos.
Yeah, rim shot for that one.
I like those.
Yeah. And a 7 and a 4 and a 1-year-old, Broham, you better keep that stuff in shape.
They keep him in shape.
Yeah, true.
That's for sure.
Hey, buddy, thanks for doing this. Good luck this weekend, man. And it's always fantastic when you roll in the Freak Nation.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
You got it. Justin Brayton here in the Freak Nation. As always, when we get a Supercross pilot in here, I get kind of snorkely, but it's just how it happens.
You didn't get too snorkely. No, you were just fine.
Let me throw something out there while it's fresh in our minds. Did you think of Ron Capps when you were looking at him?
Yeah.
He looked so much like, maybe not brothers, but maybe cousins. Every time I looked at him, reminded me of Ron Capps. And when he said he was a Formula One fan, I said, yeah, that's Ronnie, all right.
Man, he's got some eyebrows that women would die for. My God. Not that I noticed him or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, I think Crash did, the way she's not.
I'm like,
Hey,
share the wealth. Share the wealth.
We're going to take a break and get back with some Formula One conversation in regards to not just Austin, not just Miami, but Las Vegas now with a Grand Prix from Formula One. That, and of course, the World Cup draw, which I soiled myself. I did. That's next. Hey, Freak Nation, our buds at General Tire want to give you $70 back on a Visa prepaid card. How do you get it? Well, you buy 4 qualifying passenger tires from General Tire, up to $70 back. We're not talking these high-performance bad boys you see in the ARCA series. Passenger tires. You follow me? For more information, go to GeneralTire.com. GeneralTire.com. General Tire delivers for whatever you do. And, of course, the official tire of the Freak Nation.
Have you heard about Lucas Brake Parts Cleaner? Lucas Brake Parts Cleaner is made of the highest quality components, giving you superior performance and leaving no residue. How do you apply this? You apply Lucas Brake Parts Cleaner liberally to the parts that need to be cleaned. You'll eliminate brake fluid, grease, dust, and dirt components. We know a little bit about that here in the desert, I'd say. And basically what that does is that makes you a happy driver, because now your brake noise is gone and your performance has gone up. Boom.
Hey, I'm Kyle Busch. The biggest racing weekend ever at Worldwide Technology Raceway is coming June 3rd through the 5th. The party starts Thursday with the NASCAR Fan Fest and Hauler Parade at Ballpark Village. Cup practice and truck qualifying on Friday, Cup qualifying and the Toyota 200 on Saturday, and it all wraps up on Sunday with the Enjoy Illinois 300. This is the first time in a lifetime to see the NASCAR Cup Series at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Go to worldwidetechnologyraceway.com to get your tickets now. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
This is now on the internet.
But getting on the internet takes forever.
Reading War and Peace takes forever. Getting on the net with AT&T WorldNet, fast.
War and Peace, Russian Literature, aisle 3.
Yeah, but going online can cost you an arm and a leg.
AT&T WorldNet will not cost an arm and a leg.
Anatomy, aisle 7.
I spend all day searching and searching.
AT&T WorldNet is like having your own personal guide to the internet.
Travel, aisle 1.
Finally, your internet is ready. With AT&T WorldNet, you can email friends or chat and make some new ones. Surf the web. There's even child safety software.
You know, Statman, I think of you when I see that commercial. That was an old as hell commercial from back in the day when you and I both worked at UPN News 13. They were talking about AT&T Worldwide Internet.
www.
Statman, when did you sign up for Earthlink.net? Uh-oh, you're muted. Can't hear you.
I'm sorry. In the first month of the company, they had an office over at Smorgasbord near Griffith Park in Los Angeles.
Right.
And a buddy of mine called me and said, if you sign up, you'll get a free month. So I went and signed up. I had no idea what Earthlink Internet or anything. In fact, the first time I signed on the internet, I went through a whole tin can worth of instructions and got to the end of it and hit enter and just had the blinking cursor there, and you're supposed to tell it where to go and what to do. And I just looked at the blinking cursor, and the blinking cursor looked at me, and I said, well, this is stupid. And I did go for 2 years. But obviously, things changed in those 2 years.
And you still have that original Earthlink email, don't you?
Yeah, well, there's no, I can't find Statman at earthlink.net anywhere else,
I know. That's very true. That's very true.
Were you using DOS when you signed up for earthlink.net?
Yeah, no, DOS, people that understand DOS scare me. When somebody tells me they understand DOS, I sort of take a step or two back, because they're afraid they might attack or explode or something.
Richie, do you have any idea what DOS is?
Yeah, it's one of the original operating systems.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's scary. I think if he wasn't in Phoenix, I'd take a step back too.
Woo!
DOS, wow. I mean, I took a class in BASIC once at community college in Los Angeles. And after it was all over, I said, I don't even want to know how to do this.
It's too convoluted.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I had a couple computer classes in the mid 80s, just bulky code stuff. This is how you're able to get your cursor on the next line. You have to input 5,000 things first.
Yeah,
that
right.
was just
Just
whack.
the next line, exactly.
Yeah. Oof, thank goodness things have evolved.
Yeah, there was computer science when I was in college, and there were computer science majors. I thought, who the hell would do something stupid like that?
Well,
I had a roommate in the first school I went to. I had a roommate, and he was a computer science major, and he'd bring these punch cards into the room and had to punch all the stuff in the card and make it work. And you have a stack of cards like this, and you put it into the thing, and that's the way the computer worked. That was a long time, right after the mud hardened. That was a long time.
Right after the mud hardened?
Yeah, right.
Well, real quick, man, before we get into Formula One conversation, like I said, I soiled myself when this happened. I'm pretty excited.
Yep.
The fact that we've got the mother country coming up in Group B, and even better than that is we're going to play England on Black Friday. Friday, November 25th. It will be England and USA for your 2022 Qatar World Cup. In November, by the way, not June, not July, but in November, Freak Nation, when it is going to be below 100 degrees. And when you saw this draw, you thought that Group E just might be what they call the group of death. When it went Spain and Germany, that's what I said. I thought, bam, here we go. I mean, Japan will present some problems. Then you have the playoff game. But there's really not, maybe even Group F. I mean, Canada's come a long way. You got Croatia, And Belgium, that's badass. I thought Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, Korean Republic, that might be, and I'm going to insult the Portuguese with this, but I think that might be one of the easier groups. But yeah, man.
With Uruguay? Really?
Yeah,
Right.
well, just come on.
Portugal, didn't they win one year many years ago? Portugal.
Well, and, you know, one of the greatest soccer players in the history of mankind is from Portugal. But my point was, I'm acting like I know about those other groups. I really don't. But other than Portugal being a badass, they'll probably walk through that happy thing. But sorry, Canada. Not really. I mean, Croatia and Belgium, badass.
You were all excited for Argentina, Mexico.
Oh, hell yes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
The group of death, according to analysis that I gleaned from this morning, is actually Group B with the United States.
Us?
They have, yes. Group B is the highest average FIFA ranking among all the groups. So if Wales were to make it in, if Wales wins their playoff and they make it in, all 4 teams in Group B would be ranked in the top 21 in the world, which is unlike any of the other groups.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Scotland is pretty good too, isn't it? Didn't Scotland go a few rounds in the last World Cup? Weren't they important?
Neither one of those teams worry me, man. It's that other team.
Oh!
I kind of think of it. What's the third team, Richie?
That's the kiss of death.
Ukraine.
Yeah, Ukraine. Seriously, and I mean that with all intention. Is it would be such a story to have Ukraine make the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be that team that's playing Ukraine?
No. No, you don't want to be the team that takes them out of the World Cup. Yeah, no.
If they could take down the Russians, think what they could do to the World Cup.
Now they are pretty much unstoppable.
Think about that. In our division, you could have England, Iran, USA, and Ukraine. The stories with all 4 of those effing teams, man.
And countries, not just the soccer. Yeah.
God.
The U.S. and Iran, the security at that match would be significant.
Was it Richie? Was it 1998 Iran versus USA?
Oh, I got nothing. Yeah, I don't know about that. I do know the last time that the U.S. and England played in the World Cup was 2010, and it was like a shocker that the U.S. managed to tie England in that match. Including there was the only goal that the U.S. scored was like a mess up by the English goaltender. He had basically stopped it, and it still managed to dribble by him. And the U.S. I don't know if they took the lead or tied it at that time, but I remember it was a big shocker. And that was the last time we played England in the World Cup, 2010.
No, Iran beat us 2-1 in the '98 World Cup, and that was the shot heard around the soccer world that those happy bastards beat U.S. And I'm sorry, it just that's putting it lightly. I've become a whole different person when it comes to World Cup. It's just.
So are you going to go?
Oh man, that freaking Black Friday game, USA versus England.
No shopping that day, unless it's for USA garb.
Can you buy alcohol in Qatar?
You can bring it. Maybe.
I doubt it.
Crash, you can bring it. There it is.
Oh yeah, yeah, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom in a little bit here so y'all can see it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
18-hour flight.
The question: are you going to go? Come on.
I know, he's not answering it, is he?
I don't know.
Meanwhile, I have already received a text from my mom. Kenny put up a very expensive flight that's in November.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And I just wanted to ask, are you thinking of going somewhere? Because I think we might have an invitation for you around that same time. Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom, we know that.
Oh.
Yes, that's Thanksgiving. Yes.
Mom's looking out for her daughter. Yeah,
They wouldn't miss me, man. Again, they forced me to miss half of the damn Cowboys game anyway.
Ooh, so there you go.
Yeah.
You could be on the other side of the world missing your Cowboys, a family tradition on Thanksgiving Thursday. Because
Ricky, I think maybe we better excuse ourselves. This might get personal.
No, I think the one thing that will keep me here during that World Cup is the fact that, let me get rid of this tappy thing right here. Stop that screen. Let me bring up this screen. Will be this. Eventually, I will get there, and there we go.
Yeah, I have no idea where you're
Settle
going
down,
with this.
man.
Love us some
Settle
technology.
down. Right there, man.
Oh, right. The next World Cup is here. That is a good point. That is a good point. Save your money for 2026.
Yeah. Look at that, man.
Hold on, go back up. That was Seattle. That was
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, the 2026 will be in Seattle. That'll be the home.
According to that picture.
It's North America, including Mexico. It's Mexico, Canada, and the U.S.
Yeah. The North Americas, or how are they phrasing it? Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
It took three countries to get enough money to buy off FIFA.
And that's no joke, Statman. FIFA, and I know Statman's going to want to punch me through the screen, but FIFA and Formula One at one time were two of the biggest crooks on the planet.
No, without question.
And hold on, he just stole your guys' They just stole your guys' championship, Statman.
Exactly. I mean, FIFA, the International Olympic Committee, and they got to be in that short list as well. And Formula One, the Formula One, they'll never recover from last year at Abu Dhabi, that last race.
Really? You don't think so? I mean, there were some big errors that were made, but they are riding a wave right now. They are riding such a wave right now
in America, and nobody is going to forget that, and especially the millions who support Lewis Hamilton.
All right. Are you going to go to Vegas?
Am I going to go to Vegas? No. Unless
look at that face.
Unless I have to be there.
Unless I have to. Unless you force me.
Look, I'm recruiting DeWalt to become a part of the Freak Nation, and they're on the side of Skipjack's car.
No, Skipjack.
Oh, come on. Not Suarez. Who am I trying to say?
Oh, Carlos Sainz? Or
I think Carlos,
Sergio Perez?
One of those.
Perez.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, Perez. I don't know why I said Sainz. Yeah.
That man may be eating his words. Hey, what's going on? I can't wait to go to Formula One, DeWalt.
There's very few things that happen in Vegas that fit my lifestyle. Yeah.
But a Lewis Hamilton win would change that.
Well, yeah. But staying in a suite above the outdoor bandstand at Harrah's.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh.
You missed that experience, Richie. That was the bass player unplugged at 1:48 a.m.
Oh, that seems early, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
for Vegas.
We were played like a piano. The woman behind the counter said, "You want a view of the strip?" Of course we do. And we had to listen to the bass at the Harrah's for the next 4 hours. It wasn't nice at all.
Kenny's left us. He's gone. I don't know where he went. We can't hear Crash because Crash is tied into Kenny's mic. So Crash is silent right now, which means it's just the Statman and Richie show right now, which is great.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, maybe Kenny has left to get a head start on the people racing to Doha, the Doha airport.
Yeah, he just got a call to fund the entire $6,700 flight, which would be awesome. But like, I disagree with you, Stat. Me, Kenny, Crash, we're all in Arizona, obviously. Las Vegas is about a 4.5 hour drive away. And the fact that there's going to be a Formula One race 4.5 hours away from me in a car ride, I am there. I don't even care how much I have to spend to be able to go. I'm going to go, even if it's like crappiest of seats, even if I have to spend $1,000 a night to stay at a hotel. I am there, and I'm so freaking excited for this. It's going to be basically on Thanksgiving weekend, 2023. And it's going to be at night, a night race. Bring it on. Bring it on. I cannot wait.
Well, if you've never been to an F1 race, it is an experience you need to have. I've been to several, and so I don't need to see another one, especially, with the crowds and the people and Formula One and the corporate suites and the money. We're gonna have to park on the other side of the freeway in order and walk 50 miles just to get to the line that's not going to allow us into the track.
Okay, so can you guys hear us now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Phew, finally. Okay, so do you really think it's going to happen? Speaking of Thanksgiving weekend, I mean, when it comes to Qatar and the World Cup, they don't care. That involves the entire world, across the country, across the world, where nothing is based in the U.S. at that point. This is something based in the U.S. Do you really think they want to? I mean, I don't think Formula One cares, but do you think that businesses in the United States care that a huge race will take away from their biggest shopping weekend?
I think that they're going to have this race. The numbers that they're talking about, I think are wishes and dreams. But they used to say that everybody who went to Las Vegas spent almost $400 a day. That includes the ones who spend $100 a day and the ones who spend $1,000 a day. But it's an average of $400 a day. That was many years ago. Now I have to say that, let's say it's $700 a day, and they're talking about 500,000 people that will be there that weekend. They start adding up the numbers, and they're not going to stay one day. They're going to stay for 4 or 5 days a week. So you're talking about monies that don't matter to anybody else, and they're going to have this race, and people are going to come from all over the world to be there to see it and to leave a lot of money on the tables in Las Vegas.
Okay, so you don't think it being an American holiday weekend matters at all?
No, not one iota.
Or do you think, because this is still a possibility, that it might end up being the weekend right after the SEMA show, which has all the big aftermarket automotive stuff in Las Vegas anyway, and then, oh, hey, let's extend our stay a couple of more days and go to a Formula One race?
Well, they have, that might be why they chose that date, because SEMA brings a lot of people there and they spend several days. But they have 1 or 2 shops in Las Vegas. It's not just a string of slot machines and crap tables. They have 1 or 2 shops in Las Vegas. So if you want to go shopping, there's a couple of places where you could leave some money there, and they'll probably have everything will be discounted at 400% above retail.
Statman, you see the layout there of the old track in Caesar's Palace parking lot versus what we've got for next year's Grand Prix in Las Vegas. Do you remember seeing the Formula One Grand Prix, whether it was tape delayed or highlights of that race back in 81, 82?
I remember seeing highlights of the race. I would assume that it was also on television. I don't know if it was on TV live, but I remember it was a point and squirt track that was like a go-kart track. And there was no place where anybody could get up to speed because it was like a first and second, maybe a third gear track. It was terrible, and the drivers all hated it because it wasn't a challenge to their driving skill. It was just a challenge to stay inside the parking lot.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the comparison. The old track on the left to the old track looks like a hand or like a grasping hand, claw. And then the new track looks like a big fat pig sitting on its butt. That's just wild.
It does look like a pig.
Yeah.
Look at that straightaway though. 215 miles per hour.
Yep.
I can't wait for the old people of Las Vegas who have no idea what's going to happen when they show up there on their like Black Friday vacations and they're just hanging out in the casino. And all they hear are 20 cars going 200 miles per hour down Las Vegas Boulevard. And Bring it on. Like they're going to be so scared. It's going to be great.
One of the great stories I've ever heard about an F1 race was from a driver for the Corvette team, Olivier Panis,
Olivier Panis.
Whose grandmother lived in an apartment building just above the pit out. And whenever he would leave the pit, he would just raise his hand and wave at her, and whether she was there or not. And that was his thing. His grandmother was there, and he had some other friends and relatives who lived around the racetrack. But the most important thing for him, and if he didn't, his grandmother would remind him.
Was that Monaco?
Yeah, in Monaco. Yeah.
Ooh, brilliant. Best apartment ever.
Yeah, unless you wanted to sleep.
Come on, Statman. I put you on turn 1, and it's they're having to gear down to whatever it is. After going 212, 215 miles per hour, you wouldn't be standing not right there in turn 1, but because there might be a few flying over the fence.
No,
I mean, just seeing that, bro. Come on.
Yeah, okay. I would love to be there. Would I rather be at home where the drinks don't cost $25 and the hot dogs aren't going to cost 50 or 60, and the crowds are going to be just insane? And I've learned in the last 15 years that you don't want to be around crowds in America.
Oh, snapola.
Let me give him this one. Bang. Yeah, they're going away from downtown with this, and oh man, that's these renderings are sick. If you're watching us live right now, these are sick.
Yeah, imagine what the rooms at the Wynn are already $800-900. Imagine what they're going to be for a week before and after the race. I mean, it's not for people that aren't on a corporate expense account. Richie, you could drive up there, and you could enjoy every minute that you're there in Clark County. The bigger issue is going to be whether or not there's going to be enough water behind Hoover Dam to give all those people a drink.
I'll just sleep in my car, Stat. That's what I'll do. Save my money. Just find a parking lot somewhere within the city limits. Sleep in my car, and then just kind of like you're at a music festival, basically. Yeah, that's basically what it's going to be. Anyway,
it's going to be a lot of fun for the people who enjoy that kind of environment, that kind of atmosphere. There's going to be millions of eyeballs in and around there, and there's going to be hundreds of thousands of bodies, and people are going to love every minute of it.
He can't get off of the tons and tons of people and hundreds of thousands of bodies and body odor and sweat. And okay, now I'm out.
Yeah. Can you guys hear us okay?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
I just want to make sure everything was...
Can he unplug something over here?
I decided to step on a plug, so we're good to go. We're all right.
But if somebody wants to buy the Freak Nation to sell the track and the race and the weekend, that would be a wonderful thing to do and to consider.
We would enjoy Las Vegas then. Yes.
The Freak Nation is standing by to enjoy every split second of the weekend.
Speaking of, we'll be standing by. Hopefully you will too, Freak Nation, every Sunday night on the Freak Radio Network, and of course on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You can listen and watch us. And it's 7 to 9 Pacific, 10 to midnight Eastern. That's Statman, Richard C. Suave, part of this big old thing. Formula One again coming to Las Vegas. You want to shoot the Jew, Statman?
Can we? Are we allowed?
Yeah.
Did the people at Las Vegas say it was okay?
I think so.
On a Friday.
I don't know if Bernie would allow that.
Has nothing to do with it anymore.
All right, shoot the juice with the moose, Statman.
Cut it loose.
Yep.